Hi, listeners. A quick note for this episode. Satish accidentally says Narayana instead of Narada. So every reference to Narayana is actually meant to be Narada. All right, on with the show. This is not your mother's Mahabharata. Beware. It's fucking epic. Hosted by S.P. Jairaj.
Welcome everyone to Not Your Mother's Mahabharata. I am your storyteller, Satish Jairaj, and with me as always is my wife, Arjuna Anderson.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you doing?
Great.
Excellent.
We're here. Again.
Uh-huh. As always, it's a great start.
I think so.
Stating the facts.
I do my best.
Yeah. An additional fact for you listeners is that we have our guest today, Lindsay Buck. Hi,
Hello,
Lindsay.
everyone. Hi, thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm really happy to have you here. Yeah. We've been trying to get this going for quite a bit.
Yes, too
But
long, but I'm happy to finally
Freezing
make it happen.
winters, childcare issues,
Yeah.
and just scheduling.
Sicknesses, yeah.
Christmas time,
Christmas, yeah.
wintry time, all that. But yes, you're here now.
Yes.
Woohoo!
So, yeah. Really happy to have you here. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Lindsay. How do we know you?
Yes, so we have a long history together.
So long.
What's it, almost 20 years back?
Yeah, somebody math.
Yes.
Let's see. 20, because we met in...
21
21
years. We met in 2004.
No, we met in
longer
2000.
ago. Okay.
And
Yeah.
So math is not my strong
Math,
suit.
neither of us.
We'll lay
I
that
actually
out.
thought it was, wasn't it 2001?
2000 would
2000
have been.
was when we started
In the-
school,
in the
right?
fall, yep.
In the fall.
Okay.
So Azure and I went to undergrad college together,
Yeah.
and that's where we met. We were next door neighbors, not roommates, but next door neighbors, and
Nope.
yeah,
Never roommates until...
never roommates,
We
just
were
friends.
brief roommates in like 2006.
Maybe that's why we're still friends. We were never roommates.
I think that's key. I think that might be something.
That does make sense.
We
My
were
college
always-
friends.
We were always extremely
Yeah.
adjacent.
yes, so it's
Yeah.
been great.
Yeah.
So that's how I met Azure, and then of course I met Satish through Azure, and
Yep.
the rest is history.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, 20 freaking 4.
20-some years.
We didn't figure that. What is it? What year is it? 25.
25.
It should be easy if it was 2000.
25
actually.
years.
25 years.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like a
Okay.
lifetime.
Yeah.
It is. It's more than half of our lives.
Yes.
Now.
Amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah. Yes.
We did some very basic math.
Yeah.
Amazing.
You
We're so good at
accomplished
this.
a feat of math. Well done. Lindsay, what do you love about stories?
Stories. I love everything about stories. Yeah, I think that I can't even know where to start with this because so professionally I work as a landscape architect and an artist.
Okay.
And there's actually a lot to do with stories in there because I kind of consider myself a little bit of the storyteller of the land because you have to go out, you have to look at the history, look around, and what are the trees telling you, what are the plants telling you, what is the soils and the stones and everything. So there's a lot of things to be told about land through my profession. So that's also where I
Okay.
get my inspiration as an artist. So stories are very integral to what I do professionally. And of course, just also loving them.
Yeah. I'm so
general.
weaving some of
That's
this
so
into
cool.
today's story.
Great.
Okay. What is your familiarity now with the Mahabharata? And do you have any idea what you're in for?
I actually do not.
Okay.
I have never, unfortunately, listened to your podcast. I've always been meaning to, so this is going to be great because I'm going to get my first experience live on air, and then from there I'm going to be able to delve in.
Oh, you're going to be hooked.
Yes.
I'm telling you, one episode and you're going to be hooked.
Great.
Okay. What happened last chapter is that we have the 5 Pandavas, so 5 brothers,
Okay.
who are all married to Draupadi,
Okay, cool.
right? And one of the terms that kind of came up for them is that no one should see one of the other brothers with Draupadi, banging Draupadi.
Got it.
Cannot
Yeah.
see that.
Okay.
If someone sees that, the only way to cleanse themselves is to go on a 12-year pilgrimage.
Banished 12 years.
Okay.
So
So they
the-
know that they're all together,
Yes,
but you're
no,
just not allowed to.
Exactly.
Okay.
They're
Yes.
all
Got it.
very aware that
Got
they
it, got
all
it,
are
got it.
married to Draupadi. They all have their own day. So they have like Monday, Tuesday, whatever, however you want to say it. So they
Yeah.
each have their own day
Okay.
with Draupadi, and they're not supposed to, snoop
Cross.
around
They're
during
never
their days.
and they understand, but they're just never
Yeah.
meant to actually see
Got it.
happening.
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
And
okay.
there's a more established version as to how this particular thing happened. This next part, but I'm going to tell a new version because I just found out this type.
Ooh.
Is that what they would do is they would leave, whenever someone is with Draupadi, they would leave their shoes or their chappals or their slippers like outside.
Oh, this sounds familiar.
It's like the sock with
It's
the
like the
tie.
sock
Yeah.
on the door,
Yeah.
right?
Is
Yeah.
this where this came from? Everybody knows if you're in your room with a
Yeah.
doing whatever, you put something on the doorknob.
Yep. This is so clear that you guys are like men in college right now.
It's either a sock or a tie or
Yeah.
bra, whatever.
Something.
Something on the
you gotta
door.
hang
Article of
something on
clothing.
an
Some
article of clothing on the door to say that this is do not come in.
Yeah.
You will hate it in here. It's terrible.
is
Things are
happening.
bad in here. Don't do it.
Yes.
So
So,
there's with shoes.
there's with shoes.
I love this.
So the oldest one, Yudhishthira, is with Draupadi, having sex in the room, in the dorm room, and left.
Dorm room.
Yeah. Yeah, this is more outdoorsy.
Yeah, it's not a
Left
dorm room.
left the chappals outside, left the slippers outside, and a dog nabs the chappals
Sure sounds like college to me.
and runs off.
Oh no.
And maybe just puts them somewhere else. You have
Little
dogs, you know what they're
scamp.
like. And so,
We have cats and we
Arjuna.
know what that's like.
yeah, that's true. They take our socks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Arjuna, who is the third eldest, the middle child actually, the third eldest, at some point needs to get something from the room. It's fine. There are no slippers there. Walks in and he sees Yudhishthira, his older brother, with their common
No.
wife. And so now he is going to be banished. He has to go on a 12-year pilgrimage.
This story's so much better than the one you told last time. It makes a lot more sense. No, but it makes a lot more sense why he went in there.
Uh-huh.
I guess the last one he was going in for like his bow or something.
The last time, so in the
Which, like, why is that in there?
in the
This happened
more
before. Okay.
in the
It's the
more
same
acclaimed
story.
story,
Got it.
it's that because of this curse because they could never do that. The oldest brother was so paranoid that he'd never do it in the room with Draupadi. He would always be he would do it in the weapons room.
Okay.
And then some people were attacked, and they came running to the kings, which is these brothers, and so Arjuna had to go get his bow.
And so he went in the door, closed his eyes, and just like reached around trying to find his bow, but he couldn't see
That
it.
seems
so he
like a
had to-
terrible idea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think-
but
I
did
don't-
see
But did see.
the two fornicating.
I like the shoes better. Like,
Yes.
why would
And
Draupadi?
This is much more
Draupadi
relatable.
is the most beautiful, the most coveted woman of all time. Why would she want to get it on in the weapons room?
Right.
She needs silk. She needs a beautiful bed of feathers.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yeah, makes absolute sense there.
Yeah.
This version also explains something else,
Oh.
which is that Draupadi was so angry at this damn dog that she was interrupted, that she cursed the dogs to always fornicate in public. And that is why, listeners, dogs have absolutely no shame,
Oh my gosh!
where they fuck. And who
They'll
sees
hump
them.
you on the side of the couch and oh my god.
In this story, they need that now. They need to have witnesses, I guess.
Oh my god.
Otherwise, they can't get it up.
Oh my god.
Uh-huh. So
That
there
is
we go.
something. That's something.
This is an accurate, exactly as it is explanation.
Facts.
Yeah.
Okay.
More facts.
Wow.
So anyway, so this happens, and then Arjuna starts preparing to go, and he's kind of actually, he's not super upset about it. There's something about
Okay.
this that he feels is his destiny. It's something that he has to do. This is part of the Dharma. The story is unfolding in this way, and he's just part of it and has to. This is an opportunity in some sense. But, he says his goodbyes. Yudhishthira really tries to get him not to go. Like, Yudhishthira's like, you know what? Like, this is. I know we all had this vow to do this, but it's like if it was the reverse. It's like, you're my younger
Right.
brother. If it was the older brother, me, like, coming in on you and Draupadi, that would have been different.
Right.
But it's different in that ways. And, like, Arjuna's kind of like, no, you're changing the facts, and you're changing how the things
The
are.
agreement.
And this, I have to go and do this. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, he agrees that he's going to go. And what he's decided to do, this might be either just something he's decided to do because he's got 12 years to kill now.
Yeah.
Or it's part of the kind of, like, this is what you do need to do.
Okay.
But he's going to go to many of these, like, holy religious natural sites
Okay.
around Bharatavarsha, so around all over India, and just spend time there meditating and communing with the land and just purifying himself in that way. And yeah, so that's just he's decided. And there's some people who are going to go with him from their kingdom, and they're basically people who are kind of used to that kind of lifestyle, but like bards and storytellers, and then other rishis and wise men. So Arjuna decides that this is the thing, I'm going to go on this pilgrimage all over India and purify myself, meditate, and become a better human, commune with nature, all that shit.
I like that the first thing that he did was sit down. He's like, all right, I got 12 years. He sat down and made a list of how he can pass the time.
Yeah.
In a thoughtful way. Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So is it definitely the sense that, like, it was an innocent mistake? The dog, there was, like, no foul play. Like, he wasn't set up. It's just an innocent mistake that happened.
Yeah. Okay. Now, in some versions of the tale, there was a person who kind of told them, like, there was an ancient bard who's also godly in some ways, and he was the one who had them make this vow.
Okay.
All the brothers make this vow, and then when a brahmana comes and is like, hey, my cows are getting killed, there's some versions and thoughts that, that was the same dude.
Okay.
Who kind of tricked them into, like, he had them make the vow and then tricked them into violating them.
He's like a Q. A Q in Star Trek.
Yeah. Does
he show up a lot? Every once in a while?
He comes in every once in a while to fuck, yeah. So he goes with all these people that are coming with him, and I think he starts going to the Ganga, the Ganges, goes to its source, and one of the sites there is this beautiful lake. And so they spend some time in the lake. It's a beautiful natural lake. So he strips down and swims in it. And there are eyes on him, apparently.
Oh?
That he doesn't know about for quite a bit. And so
sexy eyes?
We'll find out.
Okay.
And as he's swimming, at some point, he kind of like, he has this little fire that he has made, and like as he does his prayers and meditations and like devotions to the fire god Agni, and then he goes on this little swim, and he is pulled down.
Oh no.
This creature comes up, snakish creature, wraps itself around him, and starts pulling him down.
Is it like a naga?
Yeah.
Oh! Okay.
What is a naga?
A snake.
Yes.
A magical snake. It's a people.
Yeah.
The nagas are people.
There we go. There are beings in the Mahabharata who are like, yeah. They're kind of like snakes and people and metaphors, like...
Okay.
Metamorph between the two.
Got it.
And so the snake, like, pulls him down, and he kind of, like, loses consciousness. When he wakes up, he's kind of in another world.
Okay.
And there is, like, a fire place that has been set up as well. So he was like, I'm going to continue to do my prayers to Agni then. So he goes.
He's
and
like,
he-
keep going like nothing happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
and he's
I'll
like,
just do it here.
this is here clearly for me to do. So he goes and he does his prayers and finishes that up. And then there's a woman behind him who kind of comes up to him
Oh.
and makes it quite well known. And yes, she is very good looking, very sexy.
Uh-huh.
And also he can tell, like, just, I guess from circumstances that, there's something more to her. And the fact that I'm clearly in this different world as well. So she is an Naga. Is like I said, this race of people or beings that have lived in the lakes and lived in the waters, like, and they just have there's just this underworld where I guess people can breathe, and that's where they can kind of change from snakes to people.
Okay.
So he's been brought down into this world. His older brother Beam had a similar adventure.
Yeah.
Years and years and years ago. So she brings him down, or he's already been brought down, but then they start conversing, and he's knows what she wants, clearly, as we all do, because we're all adults.
What does she want?
She wants his dick.
Oh my.
Subtly.
Oh my. I thought.
Well, I guess she wants to get married too.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So she wants his hand.
Definitely wants his hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So and they start conversing, and he's like, and she just straight up tells him, probably use the word dick, I'm going to say, why not? In our version,
keep it in
I'm going to say, yeah, I brought you down here because I want your dick.
She want his snake.
I wonder if they would use that same metaphor, being semi-snakes.
Oh. Okay.
I don't know.
Well. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Lindsay?
I don't know. I'm still...
Do you think the Nagas would call their dicks
no.
snakes?
Honestly, I was still stuck on the eyes.
Oh.
You were like the sexy eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then I was remembering the one time that I attempted to sing Hungry Eyes. Yeah, but you will not recreate that. So I'm still back there.
Hungry eyes.
There you go. Thank you, Azure, for not making
Except
me
it's
do that.
underwater, so it'd be like...
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh my god. All right. Back to the dick.
Yeah. So he explains to her that actually I can't. He explains to her that no, I took this vow.
He's already married. Yeah.
I'm already married.
Yeah, I'm taken.
And so and now because of what happened, like I took this vow that I got to be celibate for 12 years. And she explains to him that she knows all about this stuff. Mm-hmm. Knows all about the vow, and she's read all the same Holy Veda books and what to do and how to react to things. And in her perspective, or in what the actual perspective is, that vow was only to Draupadi. You cannot have sex with Draupadi for 12 years. But everyone else is
she's
saying,
in
hey,
on this.
Oh,
I don't,
loophole.
I don't think this is completely innocent.
Oh, do you think that do you think that she is connected with
with Narayana.
Narayana?
Cute.
Do you think it is Narayana?
It's a good theory.
Oh.
I just can't get over that the dog was like, not
Yeah.
set up.
The dog was also Narayana. Okay, the dog was Narayana.
And then got cursed.
And then got...
Oh, and
all the
dogs
dogs got cursed, not just
Because of
specifically
Narayana.
that dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Narayana is really out to get him.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that perspective.
And
So
now he
far
wants
from your
his dick.
limited knowledge. Yeah.
I mean, this could change, but let me see.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
far,
okay.
I'm convinced it's a setup.
Yep.
Okay. So so they kind of go back and forth on like what are the rules of the Vedas and what to do. And in every version I've read, it comes down to the fact that if she doesn't get dick, she's going to kill herself.
Oh my god.
And then in some version of it, like that comes into it. It was like, yeah, like whatever the punishment, so to speak, of betraying your wife, even though that's not the thing, it's not compared to like murder.
Right.
So by him not having sex with her, he's basically killing her.
Yes.
What is this pull that's making her need sex so much that she would die?
He's really good looking.
Oh.
So she's a teenager. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
In his presence, for sure, she is a teenager.
Acting as a teenager.
Yeah. I mean, assumingly that teenagers threaten to kill themselves, which I don't think that's true.
No, I'm just
That
talking about
feels a
drama.
little ageist. Okay.
Never.
So anyway, he
Wow.
decides that, well, that all makes sense. Plus, she's really good looking.
Mm-hmm.
And so he agrees.
All right.
What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll find out probably.
Dun dun dun.
And so, yeah, he spends the night. They have sex. And the next day, he requests that, I need to continue on my pilgrimages and things. And she's happy.
Sated.
Yep, sated.
Great.
Takes him up.
Mm-hmm.
And it is understood that she will have a child who will come into the story years and years and years later.
This happens all the time.
Yeah.
They have one night of sex, one afternoon on an island, one drop of semen, and there's a baby.
Mm-hmm.
It's really stressful
I mean, they are
to be a woman
demigods.
in this story. It's stressful to be a woman in this entire world.
Well, but you're forgetting that in some cases, having kids is really easy.
That's true.
They have kids. Well, one, yeah.
As
have sex
described by the
once.
person who wrote it, not described by the person that it was happened to.
Yeah, there are multiple tellers,
All right,
but yeah.
cool. Yeah.
I mean, there's many cases of women who once they've had sex, the kid happens within like minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like it grows and then
It
it's
grows,
gone. And, it goes...
and it's all completely painless.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm like, that makes sense if a woman wrote that part.
No, all I'm saying, okay, well, I'm getting a little too deep into this, but all I'm saying is that a girl can't have a romp in this because
There's
she
always a
will always get pregnant. Oh,
Yeah.
Tell me when it hasn't happened.
There's that my favorite couple.
Okay.
There's the couple early on in the story.
Oh, the ones that would turn into animals.
Yeah.
They were great.
They would be celibate. They were a couple. They
Okay.
would be celibate for years and decades and maybe centuries. And that way, from that action and all the meditations and stuff, gain magical powers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They'd be able to then, like, transform into different animals. And so what they would do is they had a pattern of being celibate, not having any sex, and meditating and being strict motherfuckers for years, for like decades, centuries. And then they'd go on these fucking royal like trysts with each other, where they
Okay.
would do it as animals, do it as mosquitoes, do it as bees and
Yeah.
antelopes and...
Okay, there's
Yeah.
your one example. You may continue now.
Excellent, thank you. She returns him back up, and she actually also gives him a boon. So she gives him a power, which is that he cannot be harmed in water. In not like water, but like lakes and rivers and
Yeah.
things like that. Natural water, he cannot be harmed.
Okay.
So
Great.
good thing for a warrior to have.
Yeah, very good.
So, yeah, so that happens, and he kind of goes on his way, and is continuing his journeys with the people. And it's a really I'd like to find out more details about this, but basically, he's visiting different holy sites and really connecting to the land, learning their stories in some ways, and just really, and he's just living off the land as well, living very simple lives. At some points in this tale, like, he has been able to get some kind of comfort, and there's some versions where I guess once he learns from Ulupi this idea that, oh, this was only for Draupadi that I can't have sex with, so this could be more fun.
Okay. Okay.
So there's some versions where there are all these other female characters, and he's having a grand old 12 years.
Okay, great.
And yeah, so he's married this one, and then he discovers, or he starts hearing the story of this one princess named Chitrangada, who is actually a warrior princess. So has been raised to be the next ruler, knows all the warrior skills, archery, swordsmanship, all of that.
Sweet.
Yeah. And he's quite enamored about her. this is also one where I've heard seen different versions of this, which I find kind of interesting. It's the whole he meets the king and sees her, and from one version of the story, it's they meet, and she's very different from all the other women he's ever met because she's just tough and strong. He can talk about archery with her, can talk about kingship with her, and just really get into details. There was one point where it's they always they'll use the wind, and they'll just go into long ass conversations about the fucking wind and its power and connection to archery and how to keep it in mind and how to use it and all that stuff. So in that version of the story, he really kind of falls for that person.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I've read
For her mind.
Yes. And she's a different body person, right?
Yeah.
But I read another version of the story where she actually, two other versions. One is she finds out about him and knows that he's coming. And so she goes and asks the god Shiva to make her more feminine.
Oh, okay.
Because she believes that that's what's going to attract him.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And in that version of the story, she kind of looks like everyone else to him. And he came here specifically looking for, who is this warrior princess I hear about?
Yeah.
And so overlooks her, and then she gets it removed. She's like, you know what, Shiva? Shiva's one of the gods of Hinduism. And he's like, you can take that away. Apparently it's not working.
Yeah,
well.
that's not what he was going for.
Yeah, it's not.
That's not what he's looking
what he
at.
wants. Mm-hmm.
That's a really good lesson.
Yeah.
Don't change yourself for somebody that might be exactly what they want.
Yeah.
You know.
I saw another version of the story though, where she changes herself, and then he does become attracted to her, and then later in the relationship, I think it's when she has a child, and he's there, and she becomes weak, and then as a result can't hold the magic anymore, reveals her true self, and then he's unattracted to her, and leaves soon after. Mm-hmm. So
in both versions where she did try to change herself, it didn't work out. But in the only version where she stayed herself, it worked out.
Yeah.
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 Still the good lesson.
So I think there's just, so the interpretations are how, this is the great thing about the Mahabharata is that there's so many different interpretations of it. Sometimes it was, it was a brahmana whose cows were getting stolen, and Arjuna had to interrupt his brother. Sometimes it was because of a fucking dog, And so I like the version where I like the most heroic version where he was actually attracted to her because to me that thing's really true, and I like that one a lot more. So
absolutely.
Yeah, so he ends up he connects with Chitrangada, all these things, and ends up and then he asks her father can I'm interested in marrying your daughter, and he says yes, but there are terms, as there are always terms, and here's the thing, with his nation, one of their ancestors had a boon with Shiva, and I don't know exactly how it came out to be this way, how it was a blessing, but the boon was that within the bloodline, they will always have one child.
Okay.
And I think in some interpretations it was they wanted to say at least one child, but it was just the one child. So in a way, the bloodline is guaranteed because they're always going to have one child.
Sure.
But now this one child is a daughter. And so because of that, the king has that's the only child I'm going to get. Train her in all the warrior arts.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why she has learned all of this. And so the boon, the wish here is that because, he tells him who he is, and at some point he knows Arjuna is going to return back to Hastinapura most likely. And so the child that you have must stay here, and if being, in a sense, being given custody to us, to the mother, and to myself.
Yeah, to be the heir.
So that is the next heir apparent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Arjuna he agrees. He's like, that works out for me.
Seems fair,
I can
yeah.
go back to my old life. So they do have a child. The child's name is Baburavana. And once the child is born, Arjuna continues on his merry way and on his journey. And so continues on just leaving, and I think he's going to come back a little later, but he spent 3 years there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So...
That's a good way to kill some time.
Agreed.
Make a little family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And then go off and do other things for a while.
And continue on, like, in some ways, like, doing what Shiva does, is, like, just traveling.
Sure.
And that in some ways this really feels just like a Shiva pilgrimage, especially with all these boons of Shiva kind of coming in and out of all of this.
I'm wondering how this is going to work out when he gets back, though, because it seems like there's a lot of gray area in this contract that he's like, well, I think that it only means this, but, you know, maybe it's okay. Like,
the first person I met on my journey told me that I could have sex with anyone I wanted to, and then I had sex with her, and now I'm like... Now I can just do whatever I want. I'm making new families. I'm going on a journey. I'm going to come back and check on these guys.
I feel like he doesn't really know if that's like really true or not.
Yeah,
like,
where's
gray area
where's like the proof that this is fine?
Yeah.
Like he didn't ask Draupadi.
Right. Right.
Draupadi doesn't probably have any idea that he's off gallivanting.
Draupadi was upset with him taking his leave. And I'm sure this was kind of part of it. Like, absolutely, this was part of, like, what's...
And the whole idea of him going on his pilgrimage is to, like, I imagine, meditate, take time to purify. Like, it doesn't seem he's really, like, taking that opportunity. I mean, there's different ways to do this, but...
Yeah.
Different ways to purify, I suppose. Yikes.
I mean, that's my impression.
I agree with you.
It seems a little shady.
It was a grand baptism
dodgy,
the first time, right? So,
grand baptism?
Yeah. It was in water. It was with a water creature.
I think she lied to him. I think she lied to him to trick him. I
think she's, like I said, I think he's getting set up here.
Yeah.
That's my take.
Yep. All right, let's see what happens.
All right, let's see.
Let's see. Okay. So anyway, but he continues on his travels, and yeah, he is determined to visit all these holy sites. And like everything at these holy sites, because they've been holy sites for a while, there's culture around it for a while, so there are people there who welcome, and they do ceremonies and all that sorts of things. But he's found out that there are 5 places which are still considered holy sites where this is not happening anymore. Where there aren't people there, and the rishis are not visiting these 5 places anymore.
Okay.
And so he asked them, I'm getting every one of these places on my travel journal. Why can't I get these 5? Like, what's the deal with them? They explained to him, look, okay, well, for the past 100 years or so, whenever rishis have gone there, crocodiles come and pull them underwater and kill them.
Oh, no!
This sounds
okay,
familiar.
so, yeah.
Yeah. So, that's why you can't do those places.
So they've given up on those places.
They've given up on those places.
And there's no one there to stamp your little passport.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, he has this boon.
Yeah.
He has this blessing. And so he's like, fuck it, I'm going to go swimming and do what I need to do the religious side things and all that stuff, ceremonial things. And so, yeah, he goes and absolutely, crocodile comes up, powerful crocodile, and takes it, chomps at him, gets almost half of him and like pulls him down. But the teeth don't break his skin.
Okay.
Right, because he's got this kind of blessing on him.
Nice.
And so, yeah, he wrestles with the crocodile. Water's splashing everywhere. And he does manage to get a footing on solid land. And he drags the crocodile up. Drags it up off the shore, onto the shore. And the crocodile transforms into a nymph.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
All these water creatures.
Oh, yeah. A lot of water creatures with this one.
Another sexy nymph.
It is
Wait,
another...
Is the nymph sexy?
The nymph is sexy.
Usually they are.
Yeah. Yeah, the nymph is sexy. And so at that point, Arjuna's like, okay, what's the fucking story here? Right? Like, what's going on here?
Maybe they weren't telling him the truth about why they were staying away.
Uh-huh.
Or maybe
I think
they were still going and they wanted him to stay away.
Maybe. Because I think, all the rishi probably got pulled down, and they're having a big old orgy down there.
They're like, no reason to go there.
Yeah, they just keep disappearing.
Uh-huh.
Well, if the rishi keep disappearing underwater, they think they're dead. So they're like, ooh, we shouldn't go there.
and they won't want to come back.
No.
Yeah. In this case, the crocodile really was trying to kill him.
Okay.
Oh, fine.
And so...
Buzzkill.
Sorry.
Making our own stories
It gets
here.
better, though. We'll see. It gets better. But then reveals that, yeah, they are... That she and her 4 friends, all Apsaras, 100 years ago, there was this Rishi who they were all like, yeah, let's seduce him while he's doing all his meditations and trying to achieve immortality, enlightenment, and all that shit. And like, fuck it, let's just go fuck with him. And because they're all incredibly sexy water spirits. And they tried, and the Rishi got pissed off for them trying, and he cursed them. And said, you're all going to turn into fucking crocodiles. You're trying to bring me down from my higher plane of existence onto this earth, onto, like, earthly pleasures of sex. You're going to do the same thing with other people now. You will now bring other people for the rest of your lives, or the rest of whatever. And then after he says that, and they're like, fuck, and, like, they beg him, then he, like, kind of, like, you can never cancel a curse out completely.
Okay.
And we've seen that like throughout.
There's just
like,
not a lot of backtracking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always a little bit of backtracking. Like you can do a little bit of backtracking, and so that's when he says that if some powerful Kshatriya in 100 years from now can wrestle you onto, like out of the water, then you will change back and you can move on with your lives.
Okay.
So this girl asks Arjuna, "Do you mind just doing the same thing that you did with me? Just go and rescue my other friends, battle them onto the
Can you help my pals?"
This is a trick. I think everything's a trick. Because if he's on land, he's not safe anymore.
That's true.
Oh yeah, that's true.
This is risky for him.
I like you, suspicious Sally.
Yeah.
This is good.
He agrees.
Okay.
He's a warrior, Kshatriya, and all that stuff, and wants to do the right thing. And so, yeah, he goes to each of these other lakes and goes swimming, gets pulled down, gets a hold of them, wrestles them back up, and, yeah, brings out all 5 crocodiles. And they all turn into nymphs, and they all thank him profusely. In some sense, in some elements, they try and seduce him, because it's just their nature to do that. But in the end, they are freed.
Okay.
And yeah, they
So
go
he did
off.
the right thing in the end. Then.
They all jump around in a circle and go, yay!
Yeah. Yes.
Great.
Absolutely. they do
Gratuitous
that.
jumping scene.
So now these places are safe for everyone.
Now these places are safe for everyone.
Okay.
And so in some sense, like, this is how, like, this idea of your karma and your dharma and your destiny is in... The idea is that some of these things were meant to happen. So, like, as far as, like, Narayana is concerned and making this happen, it was part of, like, that was his... I'm a enforcer of the universe in some way. Arjuna's the only one who can do all these deeds. And this is the opportunity to have it happen, have him go on a 12-year journey. He'll improve himself on the way. And, yeah, do these things to make these... Yeah, do good in the world, basically.
Sure.
These things that just kind of have to happen. And so, yeah, they're all free. He brings them all up, and then he just kind of continues, on his journeys.
Bye, ladies.
Yeah, so he helps the kingdom by, say, producing an heir, for example, and then he goes to these places and he activates them again, makes them, say, part of the landscape again that can be used. So he's, like you said, it seems like maybe nefarious, but in the end it was helpful.
Yeah.
Destiny.
I mean, I kind of feel sometimes Narayana, and Krishna sometimes, but Narayana in some ways is a little bit like a Loki character to me.
Sure.
That he's kind of conniving, but not always in an evil sense.
Right.
Sure.
Just to...
He has a purpose.
He moves things along.
Yeah.
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 Well, I'm feeling a little different. Well, actually, no. Q's like that, too.
Is he?
He's not always... Near the end, he gets really sentimental.
Oh, okay. That's good to know about Q.
No one cares but me. There'll be a few of you out there that do.
Yeah.
Call me. Hello, listeners. Today's guest, Lindsay Buck, wants everyone to know about an organization called Water Over Nickel. Water Over Nickel is an initiative by the Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe and allied organizations to protect Minnesota's people, natural resources, and cultural sites from the negative impact of nickel mining. Their efforts are grounded in their commitment to preserve Minnesota's natural environment and water resources for generations to come. Did you know that 97% of nickel deposits in the U.S. are located within 35 miles of Native American reservations, and that the EPA identifies metal mining, like nickel mining, as the most toxic industry in America? Water Over Nickel believes that we can advance a green economy without relying on practices that threaten one of our world's most precious resources, water. To find out more about nickel mining, the impact it has on the environment, and what you can do to help, go to www.waterovernickel.com. That's WATEROVERNICKEL.com.
Hi, listeners. Thanks for listening to the podcast. So, as I continue to integrate and act upon the wisdom that I am discovering through the Mahabharata and through this podcast, I'm learning how to also be a better life coach. Through these stories, I'm tapping into some ancient knowledge regarding happiness, satisfaction, creativity, and of course, applying our powerful imagination. To further support this, I also keep up with modern science and positive psychology. Listeners, there are no greater feelings for me than ensuring clients' tomorrows are better than their todays. You can find out more from following the Imagination Life Coaching tab on my main website, spjayraj.com. That is spjayraj.com. Back to the Mahabharata. So we left off with, he's been doing all his travels. He's now got, is it 2 or 3 wives? Even I lose track now.
2.
Where'd the second wife come from?
2 and 5 nymphs.
So was the first
2
one...
and 5 nymphs. There you go.
Yeah, so was the first person, the water person, that... Did they get married?
I believe they did get married.
I didn't remember you saying that they got married.
Because
They
even
had
in the
sex
text...
and they had a child, right?
Yeah.
But they... I guess that means
In
marriage?
the text that I've read, like, it was a little... Like, I didn't see any ceremony because it was just the 2 of them.
Sure.
But
one
I...
of those tree ceremonies,
underwater
but
world.
underwater.
Yeah.
Underwater tree ceremonies.
Underwater
yeah.
tree ceremony.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was something that just had to happen before, but I believe that in other texts I've seen that they did get married, but I guess wasn't as much as a to-do as...
Wasn't a
Got it.
hubbub.
Yeah, I don't know what
Okay.
a marriage to a Naga means. Because we've had cases in the story where when they marry people from different beings.
Sure.
There's something like called the Gandharva marriage wedding, where you can just get married in the forest with no witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
Because the trees and the flowers and the stones and all that earth is like witness to it as
Sure.
well. So maybe that's part of
Okay.
the whole thing.
All right.
So, yeah.
Great.
So, yeah, Arjuna, at this point, has been traveling all around India. He's been accomplishing multiple feats. Maybe he's sleeping around with multiple women, depending
More than
on the story.
halfway through?
Yeah. At this
Cool.
point, I would say he's more than halfway through.
Okay.
There are some versions of the tale where he spent years as well with Ulupi, the Naga wife.
Okay. I mean, that time flies.
Yeah. And another...
What's
like,
12 years?
And another version, it's like, well, it was only a year that he was meant to be exiled.
Oh.
So,
I was
yeah,
just going to ask, is there
very
any
different.
significance to 12, like the number 12?
I'm sure...
12
Maybe it was
years.
12 months.
I bet they... Oh, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the line, it was like 12 months, and then it's like, it's just...
12
and then
years.
It's a year.
Wait.
And let's blow this up
Yeah.
a little bit more.
Huh.
There might be, but I don't know what it is,
Okay.
because there is some numerology aspects within
Yeah.
this story, for sure. So, but he's now really getting into being what is known as a Shiva Bhakti. So Shiva is, if you have the impression of Shiva, is he's one of the main gods. He is blue. He's the one with the trident, and lives a very ascetic life, and that's basically what Arjuna has been doing. And so the Shiva Bhaktis are people who, like, in a sense, like, mimic Shiva in that way.
Cool.
and just kind of start almost to look like him a little bit. So Arjuna at this point looks very much like Shiva.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Arjuna is also quite like dark-skinned as well. And so he's got the full beard. He's got the matted hair and is just embracing this lifestyle while he's doing it.
Yeah.
But while he's doing it, while he's meditating, stories of a woman keeps coming into his head that he learned in childhood from family members. And it is of a lady named Subhadra, who is Krishna's sister or half-sister.
Okay.
Because she had an interesting story as
Yeah.
well. There was an evil king who was going to kill Krishna as soon as he was born.
Mm-hmm.
And what they did instead was, when Krishna was born, everyone in the kingdom fell asleep. And so his father took Krishna elsewhere
Okay.
and then, in exchange, brought back Subhadra.
Got it.
Yes, that's right.
And then, when the king tried to kill Subhadra, she turned into this mighty goddess.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's
Yeah. Told him, like, yep, you fucked up, didn't happen. And then that's where the story gets a little murky. Like, did she disappear? Did she get killed anyway? But, like, somehow later on in this complex story, she's acknowledged as being Krishna's sister,
Okay. Okay.
who's been living with the character of Krishna,
Got it.
who is also Arjuna's cousin.
Which interesting that they call her his sister
Mm-hmm.
because they're not related.
In a
At
sense,
all.
they have this. Well, Krishna has two mothers and two fathers. Because his basically, Krishna's birth parents took him elsewhere. And then those parents had Subhadra, who brought him back.
Got it. Got it. Okay.
So, and again, we don't know exactly what happened to Subhadra, but she could have been raised by Krishna's birth parents, whereas Krishna was raised by Subhadra's birth parents.
I see.
Yeah.
As you look
Like I said,
skeptical.
I'm
But it's
still,
true, like,
I'm still
some of-
not like it. Whatever.
Again, like, some of the story has
It's
been
a story. It's not
lost, and we don't,
Yeah.
like, in all the
Yeah.
versions, they couldn't really figure out. But she does pop up later in the Mahabharata as in this kind of context.
Okay.
Cool.
And we haven't heard any stories about her, but apparently Arjuna has, because he keeps, like, remembering these stories as he's doing these deep meditations and can't get her out of his head, even though he's never met her.
Huh.
And finds
Cool.
himself kind of drawn then to Krishna's home
Okay.
of Dwaraka. And Dwaraka is a place that it's either an island or off the shore of, like, the rest of Bharata, so off the shore of India, or it is a coastal town. Again, depending on kind of the versions. I like the island version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
So
go with the island.
I like the island version. So, in Arjuna's wanderings, and as he keeps thinking of this woman, he finds himself actually close to Dwaraka.
Cool.
Actually close, and the monsoon have started, and so he goes under a tree, and he starts continuing his meditations and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But she keeps kind of popping into his head. And once he's done with a stage of it, and he opens his eyes, Krishna is in front of him.
What?
So Krishna kind of sensed his presence close by.
Cool.
And Krishna is known as the Avatara. He is the all-knowledgeable. He is in some ways God. And so he basically fucking knows everything.
Yeah.
So he comes, and they embrace. And
Bro.
yeah. And they haven't seen each other for a long time.
Yeah.
And there's something about these two where they say that they are both incarnations of Vishnu, in a sense, twin incarnations of Vishnu, who've had stories in earlier lives, and so they're kind of connected
Okay.
Cool.
in that way.
Okay.
And so, yeah, so they embrace, and it kind of like, and Krishna starts talking to him, and Krishna knows, like, so, yeah, I understand you've been thinking about something here, someone's drawn you here. And yeah, Arjuna's like, yeah, like, I'm interested in your sister. I don't know why. I've never met her. I feel I'm in love with her. Meditation does strange things to people, I guess.
Yeah.
And so Krishna's very for this. Very much for this. But he kind of says that, okay, you're in love with her. Great. We have to figure out a way for make you or her fall in love with you. Right? So that's the way we have to do that. And so this is what we're going to do. Because we kind of have to get around some politics and things and get you to give her the chance to fall in love with you. So right now you look like a Shiva Bhakti. You've been, like you've been traveling through the jungle and the forest and all that stuff.
Which is spa day.
Actually, we're going to use this.
Oh.
Yeah, we're going to use this for you to get into the kingdom.
Okay.
And we're going to do it before you seduce her. First person you're going to have to seduce is Balarama, my older brother.
Oh, okay.
So, let's go closer to the kingdom. Then I'm going to go in. We can't have you come in yet. You just do what you're doing now. Sit in a meditative pose. Be this yati, be this Shiva Bhakti person. And Balarama, who's also a devotee of Shiva, he'll come see you and just don't say anything. Don't reveal who you are. Because Balarama and Balarama and Arjuna have met.
Okay.
But of course, it's only been maybe once as far as I know.
Okay.
And so now this will be a working disguise. So, that all happens. Krishna goes back. Arjuna sits in a meditative pose. And at least now he has something to focus on. That he's allowed more to focus on. So, he's doing his meditations. And then he starts to hear kind of a commotion around him. And sees these, what is known as the Yadavas. So these people are the Yadavas, and they are Krishna's people, and they are godly in many ways. Like, you can just kind of tell that they're exuding godliness. They've had a fascinating, powerful history themselves. So Arjuna sees them kind of coming about, sees all these people kind of talking, and Balarama notices him. And Balarama's like, there's a fucking Shiva Bhakti here. Like, cool. I don't know how he got across the ocean if we're going with the island version.
Yeah.
But he's come all the way here. And so he goes immediately, him and his posse, so to speak. They go to him. It's like, but Arjuna is in meditation, so he doesn't talk to them. And
so is he just staring at him with like his hands under his chin, like, look at this, guys!
Yeah.
Look at this guy! And he's just pointing at him. I can't believe he's here. Is he just fangirling over him?
Absolutely.
Oh my god!
And just kind of waiting for like when he can speak and like all of that.
Cute. Cute.
And like he gives like some indications that he knows they're there. Like he'll raise his eyebrow. And he's like, oh, he acknowledges us. Fuck yeah.
He knows I exist.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, they waited out. They waited out for quite a while. And eventually, yeah, he opens his eyes. But he puts on a Batman type voice, you know, so that he will not be recognized, and so that he sounds more like Shiva himself. And as he can, which of course, like at this point, Balarama's full in, like already believes that this is the guy. So no matter what he does, like it's just, oh, listen to that fucking voice. It's clearly, this is a powerful fellow. And he's like, well, what do you like? You know, it's like the monsoons are coming. Like, we have to get you inside. Or we have to get you somewhere else. Like, what do we do? How can we, like, by ritual and stuff, what can we do to kind of get you to... Yeah, he wants to welcome him into the nation. And then Krishna kind of wanders down. And by this point, Balarama and all his posse have, like, put their hands at Arjuna's feet and just asked for blessings. Krishna comes down and Balarama's like, Krishna, get blessings from this dude, you know. So Krishna's like, okay, sure,
along.
you know, yeah, I'll do that.
Play along, friend. Yeah.
And he gets his blessings from him, and Balarama like takes Krishna aside. It's like, how do we welcome him more? Like, you know, I'm into this guy. Like, he's a Shiva Bhakti. There's so much we can learn from him. This is a way of honoring Shiva, is to honor him. And he comes up with this idea, is like, if we take him to Subhadra's garden, then she can tend to him, and that'll be the finest and absolute best thing ever. Let's do that.
What a good idea.
know? And
You have the best ideas.
Krishna is actually, I mean, we don't know this guy that well. Are you sure that's like a good idea to bring him there? Like, I don't know about that. Like, and Balarama just pulls brotherly rank on him, like as the older brother. Like,
Sure.
Like, stop being a dumbass. This is a Shiva Bhakti. Clearly, look at him. This is what we should do. And so Krishna, like, gives in. You know? It's like, well, okay. Okay, sure. That works. And so they take him in. And so Arjuna then enters the nation of Dwaraka. Like, truly, like, enters it.
Yeah.
And it's fabulous. Like, he thought his nation was beautiful. But this is the nation that was kind of built by Vishwakarma, who is the architect of the gods.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
the history of this island or coastal nation is that Krishna and Balarama were in this other nation that was burnt down, that the other was old nation, and he kind of led them on an exodus, and then he made deals with the architect of the gods through his godly connections, who made this amazing, beautiful island city nation. And so it's heaven on earth. There are like jewels everywhere. The water is the purest. Like, he feels like he's in another world. So already Arjuna's like, wow, he's never been here before.
Everyone's pooping rainbows.
Yeah. So Arjuna travels through the city, sees all the wonders and beauty of it. And yeah, Krishna kind of takes him, and Balarama's like leaves at some point. So Krishna introduces this bhakti to his two wives, and Satyabhama and Rukmini. They're a little suspicious. They're like, what's the real deal with this guy?
Yeah.
He feels familiar. There's something about him that, like, what is the deal? And Krishna just like tells them, yep, this is Arjuna. You guys are like, I need your help. We're gonna get him into Subhadra's garden, and hopefully we'll see what magic happens there. So we gotta take him deeper into the palace, and of course they're like, yeah, sure. They're in.
The ladies are on it.
The ladies are on it. Yeah.
Just let them deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Krishna goes like kind of deeper in, and I'll say that at some point there's mention of him seeing this entire different apartment complex, which is where Krishna's 1,600 other junior wives are.
Okay.
But they all, like, rumor has that they all have their own Krishna
Okay.
as their husband because he can
Oh,
duplicate
yeah.
himself. So it's just this. It's Krishna City,
It's like this vast,
you know, and
yeah.
it's just so much like more than. It's basically another world on Earth, is what this nation is.
But it's an apartment complex?
I'm gonna say it's an apartment.
Do they have a
Heavenly
like
apartments.
Do they have like a shared pool area where you can just see a bunch of Krishnas just swimming and reading books and eating snacks? And,
Yeah, whatever they want to do with their
And is there a
wives.
Krishna behind the back smoking? And is there a Krishna on the roof, like you know, with a telescope, looking at the next Krishna over?
I'm gonna say yes to all
That's
of that.
exactly how I'm picturing it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna say absolutely yes to all of that. So he's led through all this, and yeah, Krishna takes him to the gates, and Subhadra kind of sees Krishna. It's like, oh, this is a lovely occasion. And then Krishna steps aside, and then there's this filthy fellow. It's like, hey, we have a Shiva Bhakti here. And he's still incredibly good looking and lean, and he's still a warrior, right? And so takes him in, and so Krishna asks Subhadra, like, can you take it? We just need you to take care of this person for a while, just till the monsoons are over. And as soon as she sees him, she feels a pang.
Ooh.
She feels like some flame. Yes.
Hubba, hubba. Awooga, awooga. Like that?
Yes.
Okay.
But she doesn't voice it.
I know, but that's all happening
doesn't
inside.
say
All
awooga.
happening, yeah. She
Yeah.
doesn't say a
Do her eyes pop out and back into her head in heart shapes?
But she turns around so that no one sees it happen. You know.
It's like a little thought bubble that appears behind her.
Yeah, exactly.
Of them like floating towards each other and kissing.
And
Mwah!
I'll say it's just a pang.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
just...
I went too far.
I went a little too far.
This is
No.
the first time this has happened. I hope that you'll forgive me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But agrees to take him in and to care for him and let him be in the garden and until the monsoons are over.
It's very kind.
Yeah. And so Arjuna does sees her and remembers his training. Is like, oh, I've got to maintain my own composure.
Keep it cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it cool.
Yeah. So takes Arjuna in, and Arjuna continues to maintain his act in that way. Mm-hmm. But subtle interactions, small interactions, she does start to fall in love with him.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I feel a montage. Montage of her pruning flowers and him
Bringing him something to drink.
bringing him some lemonade.
Yeah.
Or he's just sitting reading in the garden and she's walking by and just
like pulls back the curtains and peeks out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Or she glances behind her and goes, "Oh, he is sweet, isn't he?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway, there's more montage, but
So starts to fall for him. Now, in some iterations of the story, Balarama is rearing her to be the bride of a character named Duryodhana.
oh no.
Duryodhana is the Pandava's cousins, so Arjuna's cousins, and he is the oldest of the cousins, who is just fucking flat out evil.
Okay.
We've had
Not
many stories of him.
Good. He's
And-
a real dickwad.
Who has tried to kill the Pandavas on multiple occasions
Okay.
in that story.
Okay.
And so this is who Balarama is trying to get Subhadra to marry.
But why would you set up
Yeah,
your
why is he
sister?
doing that? Why is he doing that?
Balarama, because I think
I thought
there's
Balarama was
some-
cool, man.
Balarama is also the teacher of Bhim and Duryodhana. So when they were younger,
Okay.
he was the one who
forgot
trained
that.
them in the Gada,
Got it.
Yeah.
in
Okay.
the big mace-like weapon.
Yeah.
And so he,
So like they're like old friends.
yeah, friend, and then
Like
like I
a
said,
old-
also
Old teacher.
Mentor,
of him.
teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Situation. Okay.
so
Okay. I
There's-
forgot about that entirely.
right, and so has like a soft spot for him.
Got it.
And some of the things that
I mean,
like
he's not a dickwad.
Duryodhana has done is not like fully acknowledged by everyone.
Okay.
And like, was it him? Was it not him? I mean, yes, it was. Blind spots going
Got
on.
it.
I
You
feel
know?
like some of it's, we as the audience know that it's happened, but like the
They're not
public
aware.
doesn't quite know
Yeah.
some of it.
Got it. Okay.
So
Okay.
we know he's a dickwad. Not everyone is on board
Yeah.
yet with that.
Got it.
And so that is something that Krishna needs to kind of, that Arjuna needs to kind of acknowledge.
Okay.
And the one story happens is that there's a tournament called a Swayamvara, which happens. Swayamvara is when all these men compete for the princess.
Okay.
And so that is happening, and through Krishna's insistence, he tells Arjuna, she's fallen enough for you now. Like, she does love you. Like, that's from what we've seen. This is what you have to do. You just have to get up on stage, grab her, and run off. Because apparently, that will consist as a marriage.
Okay.
And
Runaway bride.
yeah,
bride.
yeah. Whether she wants to or not in some cases.
Steal away bride.
Steal away, yeah.
And so that's exactly what does happen. Like, there's the great tournament. People are starting to come. And Arjuna just rides up, grabs her, and skedaddles away.
Oh my god, skedaddle.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing.
On the chariot. And
Yeah.
the others, of course, like, what the fuck just happened? Balarama feels extremely betrayed.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm.
what's
He,
going
got
on?
him in. Yeah. Took care of him.
And so they start kind of like, what do we do? Like, in some sense, like, this is all legal. Like, this is the culture that we're all part of, that this is okay.
Yeah.
But this was a Shiva Bhakti person. He wasn't a king. Why has he done this? And so there's a lot of just arguing that does happen between them. And then finally, like, somehow it becomes acknowledged that, okay, but we know who it is now. We
Okay.
know it's
It comes
Arjuna.
out.
No, and maybe Krishna reveals it, maybe it kind of came out in all of this. But then Balarama was still like, well, he fooled us. And so, and
Not
the fact that he
realizing-
was saving him for Duryodhana as well.
Yeah.
No, like, now they've been drawn into the damn conflict. And so, Krishna manages to appeal and to say that, okay, like, yes, this has happened, but if we can bring them back and have a proper ceremony here, then there's no disrespect.
Okay.
Right?
Sure.
And so, yeah, Krishna kind of arranges all of that. They go and they find Arjuna. And, yeah, he comes back with Subhadra. And they have, like, a proper
Okay.
wedding ceremony.
Cool.
Where, yeah, they get married. And at this point, it's his 12-year is done.
Okay.
Just in time for him to get married to this other person.
Just before.
Lucky for her.
Yes.
Because
So
now
he caused all this drama for nothing.
all this drama, and he knew he had like 3 months left.
Well, here's the thing, though. She's going to go back with him
Oh.
Okay.
to...
Are the other wives as well?
No.
Well, what happened to the other ones?
Well, one wife was Ulupi.
One's right. One's
Right.
underwater.
One's underwater.
Yeah.
And then the other one, the deal was that she
He
would
would-
stay there.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the son that they had would also stay there.
Okay. Fine.
No. And there is a period where he actually does go back and visits her in between all this.
Okay.
You know, dealt with
Gives
the
a little
crocodiles.
toy to the
goes back.
kid and
Yeah.
says, "I'm your dad.
Yeah.
Want to play catch?" And then he never sees him again. The child.
Not for a while, let's say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
He's got a great mother. So,
True.
Okay.
yeah.
Jesus.
But anyway, yeah, but brings
Krishna.
Subhadra back. The 12 years are over. But now it's Subhadra meets Draupadi.
Okay.
All right.
This is where we deal with the consequences.
And Draupadi is not happy.
Well, was there any sort of like preface? Did Arjuna write her Draupadi a letter or something to say, "Hey, guess what, girl? It's been 12 years. I'm coming back, and I got another wife that's joining the party."
Yeah, were they ever in contact during this time, or was it like okay?
Because I don't think he could be, could he?
I don't think he could
He
be in
wasn't supposed
contact.
to
Okay, that
be
was
in
the point of
contact
it.
with them.
That was the
Yeah.
point of it.
Yeah.
So. Okay.
But like,
Yeah.
if it's done, couldn't he write a little note or send a boy
Like a little
along
heads,
to say,
little heads up.
Yeah.
"Heads up,
Yeah.
he's coming
I
home and
will-
he's got another hottie."
Yeah. I will research that for next chapter, but I don't know. I haven't
Okay.
seen that.
Okay.
And I believe it's in this period. I mean, it's 12 years. And so I wonder if it's in this period where all the other brothers also had their own other wives, too.
Okay.
So,
Sure. Okay.
yeah. But she was always like, I mean, again, Arjuna's the reason that Draupadi became their wife. Like
Yeah.
there was an archery tournament.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Arjuna won the impossible archery tournament, and then when he brought her back, so
So he's kind of like
really-
the favorite or the number.
Yeah, but so
She's a
Draupadi
little
should
bit
be
the
then.
favorite.
yeah.
So Draupadi should be more precious to him because she's like his real wife, and the
Uh-huh.
other one's just piggybacked on it.
yeah,
Yeah.
in the
But yet
sense.
here it comes with another wife.
Yes.
I'm just getting yeses out of you.
I don't, are you asking me questions?
No, I don't know what I'm asking.
I mean, I'm telling you.
No,
Yep,
this is right.
that's. Yeah, I mean, so that's like the tension there and the stress will
Okay.
be something. So what happened was Arjuna won Draupadi, came back home, and he was in disguise as well. Even
I was
then,
gonna say this.
him and his brother were in disguise, but they came back home, and he talked, and
This is the
he
best
said
line ever.
he said to his mother like, check out what I've won, and without like looking at him, he was like, oh, whatever it is, make sure you share it with your brothers.
I'm just imagining her like cooking dinner, going, "Great, make sure you share it with your brothers."
Yeah.
We've all have this line from the
Yeah.
mother.
Yeah, and you can't take that back again,
And
apparently.
he's like, "Shit," but she's so hot.
But
All right.
that was like all the brothers wanted her, and she
Okay.
was
Well,
attracted to all the
obviously.
brothers.
All right.
And to go back even further, in her old life, in an early life where she
Oh,
had
yeah,
like
this
some
is good, too.
shitty fucking husband, and she went and did prayers and years to Shiva, and finally Shiva appeared, and she was like, "Fuck yeah!" And she was like, "What do you want?" And she was like, "Yeah, finally. All right, this life sucked husband-wise, so next life I want the most honest husband. I want the strongest husband. I want the smartest, like the most knowledgeable, the most handsome. Yeah." I was like, "Great, you'll have 5 husbands."
She's like, "No."
And she was
There's
like,
no full
"Whoa,
package."
what the fuck? Yeah.
Well, we know this guy's not the honest one, right? It's-
He's the strong. Well, he's the most.
This, I mean, the
Knowledgeable.
sexual, it's interesting. Like looking
Wait,
back
what?
at some of the books, and like how just the impression of sexuality is very different
Yes.
Sure.
than it was now.
Yes.
We are impressing our
Modern,
modern.
Yeah.
What is the word I'm looking for? But our
in
modern
my,
beliefs, not beliefs, but anyway, we're imbuing that onto their story.
yeah,
But it's
Oh,
not
well.
so much even with that, even just that he was like in disguise always. Kind
Yeah.
Of, you know, like it's more
Yeah.
like that.
yeah, that's true. There's a lot of disguises when starting relationships in these
Is
stories.
it mostly just
How is it
beards?
that we haven't seen this before?
Is it mostly
But
just
yeah.
beards and like not showering, and that's the disguise?
No, because the one he was like when he won Draupadi, he was dressed as like a brahmana.
that's true. So it's clothes too.
Yeah, and that was like
Yeah.
super clean and like
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah,
yeah.
she just never recognized. Maybe she has face blindness.
Wait, who?
Draupadi, she never recognizes him.
Well, the first time she met them, she didn't.
Never
know
mind.
them.
Never mind. Never
yeah.
mind.
Okay,
Skip that.
but
Doesn't
But
make
it's
sense.
interesting because we had just picked up on the fact that the warrior princess, remember?
Xena?
Yeah, when she
Sorry.
wanted to be someone she wasn't, it didn't work out for her. But for this guy, it's worked out for him pretty well.
Yeah.
yeah, There's.
I don't
He
know
is a
what
man.
there's something in there.
It's interesting seeing like the different versions of this and like what different writers have brought to,
Yeah.
and yeah, like the difference between him, one version of the story where he's like, oh, I want to meet this warrior princess, I want to meet this muscly lady, and then the other version of where she, well, 2 versions. One, she does the spell and then finds out that, oh, it's not what he wants. But then the other version where he does the spell and it is what he wants, and then once she has kids and
And it wears off. Yeah.
it wears off and he's like, oh, that's not what I wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so clearly author like storyteller impressions here, which obviously is happening all through this podcast
Right.
too.
Well, yeah, of course.
So yeah, that's
Cool.
that's what I've got for you. This is the 12 years of
Okay.
12 years or 12 months of Arjuna's exile. We get to pick.
So 12 years or months, 3 wives, 5 alligators, crocodiles,
Crocodiles.
Crocodile.
crocodile nymphs,
Crocodile.
And 2 kids? Just 1.
With each of them.
2, yeah.
He
Totally.
will have kids with
Okay.
Subhadra
I
as
mean,
well.
within the 12 years.
2 kids. One
2
with the
kids.
snake
All right.
lady, and one with the warrior lady.
He really was productive on those 12 years. Almost.
Yeah.
Good for
And,
him.
also a lot of meditating.
Sure.
Just a lot of meditating and communing
He
with
had
nature.
time to meditate? I feel like he didn't have that much time to meditate. He'd do it for like 5 minutes a day and be like, all right, off to fuck another
done.
lady.
That was his meditation.
I'm ready to go. Well, maybe.
Yeah. What'd you think?
I liked it.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was good to get the whole 12 years to kind of see
Yep.
the
Yeah.
whole arc of that. And I'm curious to see, like you mentioned, she wasn't too happy when he came back with, with
Yeah,
another
I-
wife. Now what's going to happen now with this whole brother-husband?
Yep,
Yeah.
I'm ready for this interaction.
Yes.
I'm ready
I
to
like
see
that
what
you
happens.
called it brother husbands, because that, yeah, that keeps coming up now. So, yeah.
I might have mentioned that earlier.
And then, of course, the fact that now Duryodhana, who was again slighted and outmatched by the Pandavas again.
Yeah.
So,
Duryodhana's just got his fist in the air. Just,
Yeah.
Oh, he's such a dickwad.
Well, this probably isn't going to help the situation.
No.
oh no, but nothing really would. He
Okay.
just wants them all to die
Revenge.
all the time.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah. On that note, listeners, have an imaginative day. Thank you for listening to this episode of Not Your Mother's Mahabharat. Please like and subscribe to the podcast so that you don't miss our next episode. My name is Satish Jaraj, and I am your storyteller and researcher. My wife and co-host is Azure Anderson. Azure also wrote the theme music, she did all the editing and producing, and essentially did all the work to get this podcast to you. Without her, it would just be me swearing ancient stories to friends in our living room. Join us next time for the next installment of Not Your Mother's Mahabharat.
If you want to support the podcast and hear additional content, you can do so by becoming a member of the podcast on Patreon at patreon.com/NYMM podcast. We would like to thank our current patrons, Dinosaur Sauce, Errol the Hamster, and Praveen Prem Kumar for their support. Thank you.
Have
Have an imaginative day.